Okay, we're a little closer to the footprint, the former, the lot where Building 233 was up until 2011 when it was taken down. They knew that it was contaminated from 1950 to 2011, and they still let it sit there. I don't know what the Navy's reason for doing that was, but that seems like a long time to leave a contaminated building. And also a little bit more about the cleanup of the radium spill in a classroom in that building in 1950. That's Building 233. It generated dozens of barrels of radioactive waste that were dumped in the ocean near the Farallon Islands. Now that radioactivity never goes away. It's still there. You do not get rid of radiation. And this is according to internal Navy memos from that time. The classroom area was thought to be clean, but years later, Navy surveys detected radiation in that building, coming from underneath the classroom's parking lot. And I mentioned a moment ago that the cars parked there and people drove into the city with radiation in their cars. So, early in 2013, the site of that classroom was an excavation pit, and it was fenced off with radiation warning signs. And they had that whole block between the road, the cars, this border of the road facing us, all the way to the next street down. It had a fence around it with radiation signs all over that fence. This ground was not deemed to be cleaned by the Navy until 2016. So they also the Navy did a scan of the Avenue M pipeline. Now we're going to walk over here and actually stand in the road on top of the pipeline. The pipeline is still there. It is still radioactive. And when I look down this road, you see all the digging in the asphalt? That's from the scan of the pipeline underneath. And you see the two lines that go to a vanishing point in the distance with the asphalt? That's the track of the pipeline. It's underneath us. And if you look to the right, see that crazy face on the side of that, what is that? Some kind of railroad thing. The building behind that it's bright yellow. It's called the Buttercup. And that building was used by the Navy to train sailors in some kind of deep dive operation. And the reason it was called Buttercup is that they would take these guys, these sailors in there, and train them in a day and dunk them in the water and not tell them this was going to happen. And so it's called Buttercup because that's what you call people who get scared, men who get scared. So a little Navy machismo for you. Now, looking back to this highly toxic Building 233 footprint, that radiation is not gone. It's still there. And this is going to be the site of some buildings that people are going to live in when they redevelop this island. And right down there is the ocean, the bay, facing Berkeley. And I'm going to take you down Avenue M, past the Buttercup, which was one of a complex of radiation schools set up to train sailors. Move out of the way of the oncoming car. The Buttercup was a training place for sailors. There were classrooms in 233. They were training them, obviously, since they had radiation stored in there. They were training them about radiation. Actually, this was part of a complex of schools called the Radiac schools. And Radiac is R-A-D-I-A-C. It stands for Radioactivity Detection, Indication, and Computation. And what these sailors were being trained in was how to handle nuclear materials in war. Because after they dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they decided, the Navy and the military, decided that all wars from then on were going to involve nuclear warfare. So they were training sailors in how to handle radiation, but the problem was they didn't know how to do it themselves.